Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the fan vote Battle 3-pack from Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy. As you can see here, we have a Holo version of Mirage, we have the Decepticon version of Impactor, and then some over here, we have the Powerdasher Aragon, which is a repainted version of Cog from the first wave, the Weaponizer. It's very strange how he's packaged, like his body's over here, his legs are over here, I guess to show that they can both use him as a weaponizer. I don't know. It's really cool packaging, though. I like the artwork down the center and then the kind of two boxes with the windows out to the side. Kind of neat. But a little history quick. So the reason this is a fan vote Battle 3-pack, a while ago, I want to say sometime last year, Hasbro had a poll online for I guess it was actually three possible like versus packs. It was Mirage versus Impactor. I think it was Wheeljack versus Spinister. And then it was Trax versus Needlenose. And obviously these guys won. I think mostly for Impactor. I think, the fan love for Impactor because he was a comics character that never really had a proper figure before. So it's not a surprise that this won. The Wheeljack and Spinister were getting anyway because Spinister is in the last wave of Siege. And Wheeljack's going to be in the first wave of Earthrise. So that's kind of hilarious. I don't know about Trax and Needlenose. Who knows? Maybe they'll show up in Earthrise at some point. The other thing that's weird is we got individual retail releases of both of these characters. So I thought the whole fan vote was to just, I don't know, it's weird. I mean, I know it's like a cash-in way to get us to buy two versions of these, which I'm sorry to say it worked on me, but it did. But it's just weird. I thought that either these two would be the ones in the pack, and then that was it, just buy the pack. But they decided to do normal versions of the two figures at retail, and then this 3-pack is an Amazon exclusive. So I got this from Amazon. I like the Decepticon version of Impactor. I don't think it's going to be very different, but we'll compare them later. I'm not super excited for the translucent version of Mirage. I mean, a translucent figure is fun every now and then. And as far as the Powerdashers go, I think this is like one of the weakest ones, but I did kind of want all three. I have the other two already, and I didn't want to have 2 out of 3. That would have bothered me. So I decided to pick this up mostly for him, but I do like having these. See how this looks on the back, by the way? If it looked like this, I would be all for it. This is amazing. He looks like a ghost. Like, that's really cool. If it was a lighter translucent blue and it kind of looked like that, or even if it was clear to signify that he's invisible, I think that would have worked a little bit better. As it is, he's just kind of a dark translucent blue with some light blue underneath. So it's a weird choice. I appreciate that they committed and made his gun the same color so that he's not like all see-through except for this gun just floating through the air. But yeah, it's weird. But in any case, packaging is very cool. Let's go ahead. Let's get these guys out of the box so we can see what's going on here. So here are the 3 figures out of the packaging. You kind of have to put Aragon together. He has his torso, and from like his knees down are attached to Impactor, and then the arms and like the waist/thighs are attached to Mirage. So I guess just to show that he's a weaponizer that, any of the figures can use, but of course you already know that because that's how the whole line works. I'm going to take a look at him first. I'm going to put these guys off to the side. He is a repaint/remold of Cog. You can see the new head sculpt there. It's pretty basic, but I kind of like it. It definitely like invokes the like the Powerdashers weren't true Transformers. They were, reuses like most of the first wave of G1 was from Microman, Diaclone, various other Japanese toy lines. So it has that kind of like late 70s, early 80s like design feel that I really appreciate. And I liked Cog all right. He's definitely not my favorite of the weaponizers, so I really didn't think I would care that much about this guy. But having him in hand and looking at him in person, I have to say, he's growing on me. I really do like the color scheme a lot more than I thought I was going to. I love the head sculpt. You have a little bit of silver paint to break up all the red. The black and the silver on the lower legs looks pretty good. I actually like this guy a lot more than I thought I would. Articulation wise, head can swivel. You can rotate the shoulders. You have a out to the side and like shoulder joint there. Then you have a bicep swivel 90 degrees in the elbow. You have a waist swivel. You have out to the side, front to back hips. Although you can't go super far to the back because he has kind of a butt skirt. Then you have a swivel there really just because they unpeg. And then you have a little over 90 degrees. Not quite 180 in the knee. And then you do have an ankle tilt. So yeah, he's definitely growing on me. I don't know what it is, but I like the color scheme. I like the head sculpt. Plus now I'll actually have all 3 Powerdashers, so I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, I really like this. A lot more than I thought I was going to. I'm not going to show off how he's a weaponizer. I mean, at this point, I feel like you guys know how that works. Plus, you can always check out my video review for COG. But I will do the transformation. Go ahead and take the guns out of his hand. He kind of separates here into 2 pieces. You take this, you rotate the head around 180, and then you kind of fold this whole section down like that. You just straighten out the arms, and then you unplug them here, and just plug them into the top up here. Very simply like that. You take this, you kind of put these down, rotate this around like this. And they will kind of peg in somewhat tightly like that. And then you can just take these guns and peg them here on the sides. And then these just kind of connect. You can see that there's a tab and a tab slot, so you just pop them together like that. So it's a pretty basic transformation. If you want, you can leave them apart and kind of have them as like 2 different drones or something. But if you want to connect them as to one long vehicle, you can do that as well. Rolls decently well. I think the colors work even better in this mode because you get to see that pop of yellow on the tires, which looks really good. So it's a basic transformation. But again, you can take this guy completely apart and just attach him however you want to the other figures. They all have the same size of these, like, you know, ports all around. So anything can connect pretty much anywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much it for his vehicle mode, but I like it. Up next we have the translucent blue version of Mirage. He's okay. He definitely doesn't come off as invisible, I gotta be honest. The translucent blue is too dark. It definitely should have been a lighter blue or maybe clear, just with no color. I don't know. I don't know what they should have done, but I completely understand wanting to make an invisible version of Mirage. That was his whole gimmick in G1. He could turn invisible, and it was neat. This is not quite it. It's just not quite it. Here he is with the normal version of Mirage, and it's a good mold, but I gotta say, the coloring, the detail, the paint applications on the normal version just wins hands down for me. Definitely really prefer this version of Mirage. Not to say that this one is terrible. I just think a lighter blue or clear or just something would have done a little better to convey the invisible, which is what I assume that they're going for. It's just too dark of a blue. You know what I would actually like to see, and this is random, I just thought of this. The black, white, and red Indy car from GoBots that I believe was a woman. I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but she was one of the Renegades. That would actually be a really fun repaint for this mold. I still want, I almost said Road King. What is his name? Slapdash. I'd still rather have Slapdash, but I also, if you got to pump these out, I also wouldn't mind a repaint of that GoBot Renegade. That would actually, just the head just really reminded me all of a sudden of that figure from back in the day. That would be fun. But anyway, back on topic here. Articulation is exactly the same as, you know, the other Mirage. You have the bicep swivel, the elbow joint, waist swivel. I mean, you guys know what this is. I feel like I don't really have to go through this. Your ankle tilt. Yeah, it's neat, and I get what they're going for, But this says more like water or ice. Like that, it makes me think more of like water or ice than invisible. So just didn't quite get what they were going for, in my opinion. All right, we'll go through the transformation pretty quick because, again, if you've seen my review of regular Mirage, it's the same transformation. So I'll just go through this pretty quick. Fold in the hands. Bring in these. Fold this up. Peg these together. Peg this together. It does look like he has something written on the visages. I apologize that it's not quite. You can see there, and CBC on the other side. No, I'm not sure. Okay, so then we fold out the wheels. Oh, wait, first, before I do that, I have to unhook this whole section. Now I can fold out the wheels. Fold the head down. Come down here. Fold out the wheel pieces. Flip this around. Fold this piece up. It's kind of funny. It's literally been like not even a week since I've done this and I already forget how to do it. Fold this out. This will go up. We'll hold that back. This goes like this. Rotate this part out. Fold the foot down. Bring this out, and then this comes up. Now this is all translucent plastic, so I've heard things online where people were having trouble with the normal Mirage with these pegs. I would assume with this one you probably want to be even more cautious, because now it's translucent plastic pegging into translucent plastic. There we go. Push that down. So there is the transformation for the solid blue. Oh, there we go. Do I have something not lined up? There we go. It rolls decently. It is. See, the thing is, in vehicle mode, it looks even more solid blue. And it really doesn't give off the invisible motif at all. Yeah, it's just kind of a shame. This guy's just... Like, if you just like translucent figures, then okay, cool. It's a translucent blue Mirage. But it really doesn't give me the impression that it's supposed to be invisible. It's just too dark of a blue. They just really missed the mark on this one. I mean, it's still a good mold. Still a good transformation. I still really like the IndyCar alt mode. Just go ahead and instead of giving us weird see what they should have done. This is really what they should have done. Instead of giving us this, give us the regular Mirage in the 2-pack and then just do a single release of Slapdash. And that would have been fine. I mean, it's still a good mold and it's still a good alt mode and it's a good transformation. Just the translucent doesn't do anything for me. Alright, next up we have the Decepticon version of Impactor. I would say the most noticeable difference is the new head sculpt. It's kind of a cool, like, Spartan type helmet. That's definitely what it reminds me of. And I definitely like it. His mohawk is definitely more pronounced, which is very cool. He's got a Decepticon symbol here on his chest. He's definitely got this, like, yellow, like, warning stripes. Yellow and black warning stripes a couple of places around his body. Which is kind of neat. Gives a little bit more, like, flair, I guess. A little bit different, I'm going to put this up here for now. But anyway, here is the normal version for a comparison. So obviously, like I said, you can see that the head sculpt is completely different. Has that yellow and black tape paint around. The shins are a little different. But overall, it's mostly the same toy. A little bit of paint here on the shoulder is different. But yeah, for the most part, it's the same. So very subtle differences. But I think This is a little bit more successful than the translucent version of Mirage. Just because it's again, it's like a different version of the same character, which is what's same for Mirage, but this is more successful because it actually achieves what it was going for. He has a different head, he has a Decepticon symbol, he's got a few different paint applications. This is the character during his time when he was a Decepticon. So like, okay, I'm on board. I really like the new head sculpt. I think that's pretty cool. Decepticon symbol looks good, and I definitely think because he's purple, you know, the mold and the color scheme works a little bit better as a Decepticon, in my opinion. And that's just coming from someone who really has no knowledge of the character from the comics, because I didn't really get to those comics, unfortunately. Maybe one day it's on the list. So I don't really have anything invested going in, so I'm just saying, okay, here's a new version of this toy with a different head sculpt. And I like the head sculpt, and I definitely think the color scheme works better for a Decepticon, but, you know, the first one was a good toy. This is a good toy. It would have been neat if he was like a completely different color scheme in the comics when he was an Autobot versus a Decepticon. I understand that they have to stay faithful to the comics, but that would have been a little neater if it was just like a really different color scheme. But either way, I do like the new head sculpt, so it's just kind of a question of which one do you prefer. They're definitely different. I mean, you could almost, like, I almost feel like they could be two different characters because the head sculpts are so different. You have like a clone situation going on here. They just happen to turn into the same vehicle instead of one a car and one a jet, or one a tiger, puma, whatever cat he was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, they definitely look like they could be different characters. Alright, so we'll just run through the transformation pretty quick. Because again, if you've seen my Impactor video, I've already done this once. So you swivel the hands in, come around to the back. I believe you have to rotate the head around 180 degrees. Open up this little panel, sink this down, close that up. Doesn't look like it's closed all the way. There we go. Snaps into place. There we go. Then you flip this over here like this. You can go ahead and you have to unhook the torso to kind of lift that up like this. And then you're going to kind of bring the arms down, well, straight forward, and then you're going to bring them down. But you have to... Which way do I turn these? So if I turn these down like this, this has to be like this. So you bring this down, and that will fit in there. You take the gun, you peg this peg hole here into this circular peg right there. So pop that on like that. Then you bring this down, and the joints are pretty tight, and wow, a piece of plastic just came off. That's interesting. Was that just some... I think honestly it was just probably some... Oh no. Did that break? I don't think so. I think that was just... I'm going to investigate real quick. Maybe? Okay, so let's take a look at this. You can see here, as I was turning this, that kind of like broke a little bit, and now there's a little piece there. But if you come over here, it's just supposed to be open. So, I mean, I guess technically it broke a little bit, but I don't really see it being a problem. I don't know. I'm going to clean this out and I'll be right back. Okay, so that was weird, but mine definitely has a stress mark in that elbow joint. It's not really the elbow joint. It's more where like the bicep swivel is. There's definitely a stress mark there, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because it looks like either when I turned the bicep, it like broke off a small sliver of the purple plastic from the shoulder, but it doesn't really look like there's any lasting damage. It's weird, but I think it's going to be okay. Not much I can do about it at this point anyway, so I guess just be wary of that if you pick this up. I'm thinking it's probably just a QC issue on mine, so shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see. Next, you unpeg this here, like that, and that kind of goes up like this. You're going to fold these down. You're going to flip these out like this. Peg the two legs together, and then this will swivel around like so. And then these will peg in to the back here like this. There we go. Line those tabs up. Why aren't you lining up? What am I doing? I think this isn't rotated 100% the way it's supposed to be. Alright. Okay, so I don't know why this is doing this. This figure is like determined to really give me trouble here. I don't know what the heck's going on. So bring these around like you're supposed to. That's all correct. Oh, now the hands aren't even... what is going on with this thing? Shouldn't be this difficult. That plugs in, no problem. And then that one plugs in, see? Okay. Don't know why it gave me trouble the first time. This looks perfectly fine now. Here we go. Here is the tank. Ugh, now I can't plug this in. What are we doing? All right. Well, that was a process. You got to watch that firsthand. Haha, see what I did there? Anyway, so yeah, it's still a good-looking tank. You have the swivel in the turret. Like that, so that's no problem there. I guess technically you can move the cannon a little bit. You have this cannon up here, you have this other little gun that pegs in up there. Have a couple of connection ports around on the back and whatnot. I've got little purple plastic shavings all over the place from that shoulder joint. But yeah, it's still a good tank mode. I think it's pretty neat. I like the molded in guns here on the side. I like the kind of like cow-catchery type things, for lack of a better term, on the front. And it's a simple tank mode, but I think it works, and I like the color scheme. Honestly, the two side by side would be pretty indistinguishable, that's the word. You have that little bit of the yellow and black paint there on the side. That's about the only way you could tell them apart, I think, in this mode. But yeah, looks pretty good. See, at the end of the day, I gotta say the Powerdasher is my favorite out of the three, which I guess is a good thing because he's the unique character in the box and the main reason I bought the box. But the Mirage mold is solid. I still like the Mirage mold a lot, but I would say just get the regular version of Mirage. I know what they were going for with the invisibility. You know, that's one of the main characteristics of Mirage, and so they're trying to convey that here. But it's just too dark a blue. The dark blue translucent plastic just really doesn't work for me. A lighter blue or a clear blue I think would have got the point across. I do like the gold painted eyes. I think that's cool. But he just looks more like a Jolly Rancher, or he makes me think of like water or ice or something more than invisibility. It just doesn't quite work. I do like the Decepticon version of Impactor. Now, unfortunately, mine does have that QC issue in the shoulder, where the bicep swivel is. You can see the stress mark. Now, it seems to be swiveling okay, so I think ultimately it's going to be fine. But you can see there is a stress mark down in there. And obviously some of the plastic right here kind of broke off. But ultimately where the bicep swivel is, I think it's going to be okay. But I did just notice that I am missing some paint on his right eye. You don't notice it that much because of the shadow cast by the shoulder cannon. But this eye is painted fine. This eye, like, it has a little bit of blue all the way towards the middle. And then as you get farther out, it's missing the blue paint. Like I said, it's really hard to see in certain lights because of the shoulder cannon casts a shadow. But, so yeah, so I'm kind of bummed that he's got a few QC issues, but not the end of the world. He still looks pretty good, and I think his bicep swivel is going to be fine. But yeah, I got to give the clear winner to the Powerdasher, and who would have thought, because ultimately, I did not think I was going to like this color scheme. It's definitely a lighter red. Like in the pictures, it showed a darker maroon, and I wasn't a fan of that. But the color red they went with, I really like. And I really love the head sculpt. I think that's really fun. Plus, it's going to be neat to be able to finally pose all three Powerdashers together. I think that's going to look pretty good. When I finally get around to reviewing Chromar, I will show all three together in that video. So yeah, it's really up to you. Do you need this box set? I would say no. I think what they should have done is just given us the real versions of these characters in the 2-pack that they had us vote on, instead of giving us the characters in the normal line and then just making up these weird ways to get another version of the characters for this fan pack, and then to lock this third figure in there just to make us buy it. Like, Hasbro is really starting to pull some cheap cash grab moves, and it's becoming very apparent. I mean, I know they're a company, I know they're interested in making money, and I can't fault them for that, but I don't know, their practices are starting to get a little blatant and a little sleazy, in my opinion. I mean, it's not going to, turn me off of Transformers. I don't really think anything could, but it just, sometimes it's very easy to see where you see a company do something and you're like, yeah, okay, like it's a little lame for you to pull that kind of practice, but you don't have to buy this. I mean, if people want to just get the normal versions, they can just get them at retail, and I guess it's good that they're widely available. But at the same time, if it was just these two in a pack, I would have just passed, and that's fine. But that's why they locked this character in there, to make people buy it who might not normally buy it. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. Overall, I think all 3 figures are solid, but do you need this pack? It's really going to be up to you. Your mileage is going to vary. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.